Welcome to the pub, Jack Free. This time I'm continuing on with the missions here with this one back at the tower.
Who knows what Arrow will try to do next with that dark ship? We've got to take him out.
And I suppose you know how we can take him.
We have a plan, but it's risky.
Oh, of course. It couldn't be easy. No! And I'm sure we're on the short list to head up the mission, huh?
No, this one's tricky. I'm giving it to Torn and Jinx.
What? I suppose you don't think we're good enough, huh? You don't think we can do it?
Dax.
May I remind you that this team of Daxter, Jack, and Daxter have taken on just about every scary thing this world can throw at us for 3, count 'em, 3 adventures.
Daxter.
This is an outrage, Jack. We're the heroes. We're the ones on cereal boxes, for God's sake. And I'm about to release my own line of sports shoes. I've got a contract.
You're on the mission. Your job is to cover Torn and Jinx in a vehicle filled with explosives. Escort them to the metalhead section, and together you'll blow open the nest.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so in the first place?
At this point, the game's going to be giving us some long ones, mainly because of the fact that we haven't gotten some long ones in a while. And also, it really wants to pad the time by giving us a bit of a rail shooter FMV style. And it ain't fun. It's kind of awkward to even hit these fuckers. Because the problem here is that your guy here, Torn, doesn't have a lot of health. He can easily be killed. And I believe he does have friendly fire, which means that if I shoot anywhere close to him, I can hit him and it does damage. I'm not entirely sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Also, you can see Sig here driving around, and also our friendly smoker guy next to him. But yeah, our thing here is to Torn by shooting down all the enemies that will either be on the ground trying to fuck some shit up, jumping from the buildings, maybe putting some barrels around to mess with us. Whole bunch of shit going on. And this goes on for at least 6 minutes. Like about 5 to 6 minutes. This isn't a joke. This isn't like, well, the trail, had to go from like 5 minutes to get from the tower to the other side, right? Maybe it's the same thing here. And I'll give you that. But the main thing here is it takes close to 6 minutes. Because not only are you going slow, you're also just kind of weaving about, and the camera isn't really making it much easier for you. Also, to make matters worse, you have a health bar, so you have to be careful of your own fucking health. So, if either you or Torn loses all your health, you're fucked. But there is good news. There is actual good news. If you get about halfway through this, or near the end at the very least, there are checkpoints. So luckily, the game does save your position and lets you continue from there. So, it's not gonna fuck you there, luckily. You don't have to redo the entire thing again. But it's still annoying. It's still annoying when you really get down to it, because this entire level is just padding. It's just a rail shooter in the soft FMV. And what I mean by this is that it's got a very, very mean camera to it. And FMV games, when it came to rail shooters, usually did not have good fucking camera work. They usually have to wave around, be annoying, make a big a nuisance as possible, and just kind of hide the enemies in a way to where they can easily like hit you without you noticing and fuck your day up. And this one has it all. It has rockets coming out of nowhere. It has enemies coming out of nowhere. It has all sorts of shit coming out of nowhere. And not only that, there are moments where you're trying to shoot at something, but because of the reticule not going far enough, you can't actually hit the fucker. You can't hit the fucker until the camera lets you. And usually it doesn't until they're about right in the vicinity where they'll get shooting immediately. And they will shoot immediately, usually at Torn. Not many enemies will actually do that much brunt damage to you. But you are weaker than Torn is. You will take more damage easily than Torn will. So your health is just as much of a danger as Torn's is. So yeah. And that's all I gotta say about this mission. It's not a fun one, and it does... At that bit at the port there, it's just going all around in a fucking circle, and it was just kind of a waste of time. And now we're actually in the area where it actually matters, because now we're getting to the end now, where the whole purpose of what we're doing here comes into play, in which the only reason why we have this riot of barrels as explosives is because Torn is going to go to the very end of this hallway of this area, and he's going to he's gonna blow up something. And what he's about to blow up, he's gonna do with style. Because it's Torn. So, enjoy the show.
Move and groove, Chili Pepper!
Alright, it's payback time. You ready to rock, Dax?
You mean go in that place? Jack, maybe I'll stay here and, protect Sig.
Alright, so... You might notice the audio is a bit distinct. It'll go back to normal eventually. But yeah, Supernova, our final gun. Supernova is interesting in that... Oh, by the way, we have our final weapon upgrade, by the way. Which is just an ammo efficiency thing. So, that's it. All the rest of the cheats, by the way, will not unlock until we beat the game. So, we are done with cheats for now. We are done with our unlockables. But, we're not done with the game yet, because we have a lot of missions left. And the first one to deal with is this new area, which I'm guessing is a new kind of nest. That's Supernova, by the way, where it's basically an area effect, sort of like remove all enemies sort of weapon. However, it's only effective in a small area, usually in your viewpoint, and it only gives you about 2 shots of that, because it takes 10 of the purple gun ammo to fucking fire the Supernova. It's not good. You are better off using yellow gun. Oh, by the way, you have to kill all those enemies in order to raise that up. There is a way to kind of run around the left wall and climb up that way. It's awkward, but I'll do it the correct way instead. Your main goal here is to move forward and then climb upwards until you eventually get to where the cutscene is. So, you're going to be doing a lot of fighting, a lot of platforming, and you are probably going to be dealing with a lot of bullshit. Luckily, you have yellow gun. And luckily the game gives you a lot of yellow ammo. So, use yellow gun, you will be safe. I have no other words for that. That's what you gotta do. However, there will be points where the game is finally going to make you use light jack abilities for a purpose outside the temple. And that purpose is flight. That's it. This is where the only real useful light jack ability actually gets any sort of actual use in the game. Because regeneration, unless you are in dire need of that, instead of just dying and getting to a checkpoint, you're never going to use regeneration. The shield sucks, you're never going to use that. And slow motion, it's neat, but it's never really useful in combat or in gameplay, really. Even though there were parts in the game where they could have done so, they decided not to do so. So, ultimately, it sucks. The only one of any use is flight, and it's only useful in the temple, in here, and the final area of the game. You don't really need flight anywhere else. It can help you a little bit of reaching places if you don't feel confident with it, but it's not that useful. And that's the main problem with the Light Jack abilities. Like, yeah, Dark Jack is all attacks, but even then, now we got these guns, Dark Jack is 100% worthless. But Light Jack is even more worthless because 3 of the abilities are, like, 2 of the abilities are completely fucking useless. 1 ability is only useful for the very rare moments in the story. And the only useful one, the most useful one of all the abilities of Dark and Light Jack for this game is the flight one, because the game makes you use it at the end game sections. And yes, we are basically in the end game sections. Like, this is it. We are nearing the end of the game. There's not that much left of the story left. We're gonna be completing it pretty much next part. So, yeah, this is interesting. It's interesting because they give you all this shit, and it's just kind of only mandatory when the game wants it to be. It's only useful when it wants the game to, you know, let it be useful. By the way, cutscene.
My little friends have come to see me off. I'd love to stay and chat, but I have an appointment with the most powerful beings in the universe.
You're through, metal monkey! Don't make me come over there and sick Jack on you.
You're too late. I've already awakened the Dark Mega Ship. When I come back, I will be wielding the very power of the Precursors. I'll see you boys soon.
Look at that, it's cool. It's amazing. It's reacting to the dark stuff. Wow, it's gonna blow!
Let's get out of here!
And that's it. That was it. That was the whole... We did all that to get there and have a cutscene happen and an explosion. That was it. Oh, but now we go all the way to the hut, which is, you know, not that far away, luckily. But it's the only time we ever go to the hut. Why? And yeah, we go there and we get another cutscene for another mission, which, if you can get the idea where this is going right now.
Jack, we're in serious trouble. Onin says there are strange forces at work. Fate has been twisted by something more powerful than anything she has ever seen in her many years. Something now awake deep in the catacombs.
Let me guess. You blowhards want us to go down there, correct?
The best access to the catacombs is on the metalhead side of the city.
Sometimes I really hate you guys.
Onan says she sees your fate turning black with uncertainty. Onan says it will be very dangerous indeed. Onan says Hecker will escort you to the catacombs and... What? What did you say? You will be Onan's eyes and Jack's wisdom. You must do this. Okay, fine. But I am gone the moment that things get sticky. You two, get to the catacomb entrance and take care of business. I'll meet you there when the coast is clear.
Yes, suck it, Pecker. Okay, so this mission. Yeah, we're going back here. And by the way, the white force field is now down. So we can actually now go into every area. So, you know, we can go everywhere. But we're now finally going to the final area of the game. But first, we have 2 side missions. And both of them are out here. Let's go ahead over to here and begin the first one.
Here's another get-to challenge. Time's counting.
It's pretty much near the entrance of the final area of the game. It's not even, like, hidden or anything. It's just there. So, go to the entrance of the final level and you'll get it.
Good work. You're looking like the hero I remember.
And now, this one.
I bet you can't reach this spot in time. Good luck.
This is also close to the entrance of the final level. You climb up the same way you did just then. Both of these suck, but they're easy fucking orbs at least.
Good work. You're looking like the hero I remember.
And now that's done, we can now go to the entrance and begin the final level, Jack Free. I have to walk in very slow because we can't move any faster than this during this bit.
The only hombres tough and crazy enough to take on these things are the Wastelanders.
You're a genius.
Yeah, that trinket's worth about as much as you'd get from a broke-down pawn shop in Southtown.
Okay, so the metalheads are back, and they're pretty much just normal metalheads, you know, the monkey ones, the big guys. We know how to deal with these guys at this point. We have the ultimate gun for all of them. And by the way, this is another place where you can grind for metalhead gems. If you really cared at this point. I guess at this point you should try to get maybe 100, because maybe 100 of these gems will do for you in order to complete the rest of these that will unlock at the end game. At this point, I don't think you need that many, but just in case, you know, bit of a precaution. There are also some, you know, orbs around here. The final orbs to find in the game. But they're only in, like, the first quarter of this level. All of these precursor orbs. Once you get these, and I died, you are done. And by the way, you can come back here anytime you want, unlike Jack 2. This final area is not locked off from us. We can come back here anytime we want. So, yeah. And the thing is, I did miss precursor orbs here. Because it's optional in a way, but you will be needing the flight mechanic to get to these orbs. I'll show you it though when we get to that. But yeah, we also used the blast thing on some walls. Now, of course, what you're thinking, well, they're bringing that back here too in the final level. Dark Jack must have some use then. Not really, no, because unlike the flight, the breakable wall thing was only really happening in the temple. Even though it's appearing here, it does not happen as much as the flight does outside the temple. Otherwise, every ability has been used because of the temple, or because of that one time when we did that fucking car thing and then we got the shield. Then we were forced to kind of use the shield in order to move on. Like, they're all fucking done because of the temple, really. Also, unique enemy and spawner, which are now destroyed. And it will only appear then and there. It'll never appear again. The end. So, the orbs you want to find, you have to go around a wall and then fly over into a entryway, because this is actually the racing area. The thing is, you have to go to the area where the races begin in order to essentially get the precursor orbs and be done. Otherwise, you miss those. And that's it. No, seriously, that is all the precursor orbs for this level. That's all the precursor orbs for the game, really. Until you beat the game, then get a few more side missions at the end. But outside of that, that is everything. So, yeah. The rest of this is just going moving forward to beat the game, which we have to do in order to be done here. And yeah, it's telling us how to do the jock jack thing. I don't know why the tutorial is even here anymore. We know how to do all this shit. If the Dark Strike and shit. We know what we're doing. We don't need a tutorial anymore. We're at the final fucking level of the game. We have no need for a tutorial in the final level of the game. And also, there are more glitch spots where the goddamn metalhead gems go through the floor. That still doesn't fail to annoy me. And yeah, by the way, I'm going to die. But, yeah, there's going to be a lot of platforming for this bit. Because they really want you to get used to that platforming. Even though in Jak 2, they kind of didn't bother too much on that. Compared to Jak 1, where it was solely platforming. And yeah, there'll be a few enemies as well, a few little waves here and there, but just use yellow gun, you'll be fine. And yeah, you're just going through a whole bunch of debris to get to the bit where it matters. You know, where Pecker is. Because we have to get the Pecker. We have to find Pecker somewhere here in order to just be done. You know, just... No, sir, I have no other words. I have no other words for this bit. It's just, we're platforming, we're using our board, we're using this Dark Strike thing to get through some walls. We're flying about. We're fighting all these monkey enemies again. You know, they came back, they were from, like, the last level of the game in Jak 2, now they're here in the last level of Jak 3. Because of course, symbolism of some shit, or, you know, reference... whatever, and the whole place is kind of awkward. It's not fun to really maneuver around. It, like, the crumbling floors just kind of fucking jumps up sometimes and make it really awkward to get across gaps. So this whole bit is just off, but really the most important part is after this, because yeah, it's just but this bit's just kind of boring, really. I'm not a fan of this bit. And really, this is only like the first half of this fucking level. The second half is more interesting to talk about because it's kind of unique. I believe it's also the final vehicle of the game we're going to be seeing up ahead, because it is a vehicle section. But it is, I believe, the last car we ever get to drive in the game. So, here we go, guys.
Where have you been? I've molted 3 times already, just waiting for you. Onan says we must get through the palace ruins, but I think... Uh-oh.
Jack, let me just say, before it's all over, riding on your shoulder, although it is kind of bony and uncomfortable, well, you've been a good pal.
You too, Dax. These adventures, they've been great.
Someone call for an army?
You're a long way from the desert. I thought you said a smart warrior never takes his opponent head on.
That depends on how hard your skull is. I'd say you and I are both rather headstrong.
Let's finish this.
Look alive, Jack.
Yep. Our boy's back, our man's back, and he brought his ride. So, this is the final ride. It is a big motherfucker. And the goal here is to use our turbo, which doesn't last very long, to smash into walls and these towers, which the towers destroy the force fields. Must destroy all the force fields and walls to get across from point A to point B. It's interesting because this is the final vehicle of the game, and it is a powerful fucking vehicle. You know, it has a turret gun that is, you know, auto-aiming, much like 6 gun, you know, much like 6 vehicle. However, its main thing is that it is a brute. 6 weapon wasn't really much for brute, in a sense, but this is definitely what I would consider a brute fucking vehicle. This is what I would consider a bit of a tank. But, it's the driving section. And it's the driving section in what I consider to be the hardest one to get through, because the terrain here is a mess. You're gonna be bumping about, your steering's gonna be all over the place, and you also have a fucking, like, mortar somewhere aiming at you and giving you hell. So, you know, you gotta be careful of that. Luckily, they always give you a target before it even lands, so you'll know where it is. But at the same time, it can be a pain in the ass because you're trying to go for a head for a tower or something, and they put the target right to destroy the tower, and then, you know, it gets a bit silly. But that is not as silly as the section we're about to get to, where it goes from being fairly like, you get what you're doing here, you know what you're understanding, you know what you're doing. But it gets from that to then being confusing. And the reason it's confusing is because developers made this section where you have to go through the entire bit one way. But they kind of fucked up, because if you use boosts and jumps, it kind of breaks this area here. I was not supposed to do that. What I just did there is a sequence break. That's not a fucking joke. I actually sequence braked by doing that. Because I'm supposed to actually go down here, go around this fucking area, after getting that, by the way, and essentially breaking down a wall, going to the left, breaking down some bridges, and using those bridges to get across in order to break these. But because of the boost and because of the jump, if you use them both together, you can jump these gaps, and these bridges become fucking useless. I mean, you can look around, you can look around, find all the walls, break all the shit down. Now, there's a wall right here. Boom. There's the way it's supposed to go. But as far as I know, unless you're being courteous to the developer's intentions, unless you're not getting it, not seeing it at all, and you're just blind to this, you're gonna jump these gaps. Which is much faster and better than doing what they want you to do here. But at the same time, it's not the intended way, and it's weird that they don't even suspect you would do this. And by the way, we're done with this section now.
Not bad driving, kid. It was a good fight. And a good day to die. I'm very proud to have been by your side in the end. This world is not yet out of heroes.
We did well together. Don't move, Al.
Please, promise me one thing. Promise me you'll find my son, Mar. You'll know him when you see this. He's wearing an amulet just like it. A symbol of our lineage with the great House of Mar. Save the people, Jack. They need you.
Father. Yes, you were that child. I took you from Deimos, hoping to harness your eco powers for my experiments. Then I lost you to the underground. You seem upset. Did I tell you too late? You were the son of the great warrior Deimos. Oh, and he never knew. How delightful.
Ah! Bigger!
Thank you for opening the door to the precursors. Don't worry, I'll be back to put you out of your misery.
After him, Jack!
You're willing to go down there? Without a fuss this time.
Yeah, well, don't get used to it. It's just that nobody hurts my best friend and lives to brag about it. Let's get him!
Oh god, we got this section again. Well, don't worry, this is it. This is the final fucking mission of the game. We are now going to chase after Viger, and we're gonna fucking kill him because he killed our dad. Let's go, people. It's now time for another one of these stupid sections, but don't worry, we'll make it through. We won't die. We fuck